Hi, I'm Stephanie Jaworski of joyofbaking.com. Today we're going to make fruit and nut balls, also known as sugar plums, and this is what they look like. They really are just a pureed mixture of nuts and dried fruit, and the fun part is once you roll them into little balls is you can decorate them in like all different ways. Here I have some done in rolled in some sugar, dried coconut, chopped nuts, and my favorite way is to dip them in dark chocolate. So, like I said, a really easy recipe to make. And they're really nice at Christmas time because instead of, usually there's a lot of butter and flour and all that kind of stuff, this is a really nice change. It's just nuts and dried fruit. So the health conscious people will really appreciate these. So what you really need is 1 cup, which is 100 grams of nuts, to 2 cups, about 280 grams of dried fruits. Now I'm using half a cup, 50 grams of pecans, and half a cup, 50 grams of walnuts. Now I do like to toast my nuts. I find it really brings out their flavor. So just preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 180 degrees Celsius, and then just bake the nuts for about 8 to 10 minutes, just until they start to brown a bit, and you can really smell the nuts, and that's how you know they're done. And then just cool them, and then you can coarsely chop them if you want. And then for, like I said, 2 cups, 280 grams of dried fruits. Now, this is where you can really have some fun. I mean, there is so many wonderful dried fruits on the market today. So what I'm using here, and you can use any, the combination I'm using is some dried berries. Actually, I'm using kind of a combination of dried cranberries and cherries. I'm using half a cup of that, which is 70 grams of each of them. And then I'm using some figs, dried figs. Now, when you do buy dried figs, they always have the little stem, so cut that off because it's not very good to eat. And then I just roughly chop those. And then I like a little color, so I'm using papaya, dried papaya. I really like that. Apricots is another great one to use. And then I have some dates, roughly chopped. Make sure you take the seed out of your dates. And then if you want a little bit of heat, you can add, anywhere from a half a tablespoon to a tablespoon, like 5 to 10 grams of the crystallized ginger. I find really adds a little bit of heat to that. So now what we're going to do is just puree everything in our food processor. So just add it all. Okay, and then I'm going to add just a little bit of sugar. You don't have to, but I find some of the dried fruits are a little tart, so I'm going to add 1/4 cup, 30 grams of confectioner's sugar, or you may know that as powdered or icing sugar. So then what we're going to do is just puree this. It's going to get a little noisy. It's pretty, it's all little pieces. So at this point, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon. Now you can use honey if you like. You could use golden syrup, which is in fact what I'm using here is golden syrup, or corn syrup, any of those. So it just helps to bind all the mixture together. And then for flavoring, I like to use some Grand Marnier, or you could use rum or really any type of alcohol. 1 to 2 tablespoons, just enough to bind it together. Now, if you don't want to use alcohol, then you could use I mean, you could even use water, but you could use like an orange juice or a, apple juice, really any kind of juice, just to flavor it. And I'm just going to puree until it starts clumping together. So that looks good. I mean, pretty simple. And really, it's a great like last minute thing. Or what's great about these is you can store them in the fridge for probably at least a month, or you could freeze them for even longer. Especially if you have the alcohol, because alcohol acts as a preservative. So now, all that's left is for us to roll them into, I find like 1-inch balls, about 2.5 centimeters. And if you have a scale, this is where, to make sure every ball is the same, you don't have to worry. I just weigh it, and it's about, I find for a 1-inch, it's about 15 grams. That's the easiest way. And then just roll it between the palms of your hands, and just put it on a, you could have a baking sheet lined with like parchment paper, wax paper, aluminum foil, or just lightly butter it. So just like so. So that's what I'll do. Okay, so we're finished. I got 32 of the fruit and nut balls. Depending on how large you make them, you may get a different yield. So now, once you have done all that, then we can roll them in our toppings. Like I said, there's so many you can do. You can do them all in one or do a variety. Like I tend to like to do a variety. So what I have here is some dried, unsweetened coconut that's shredded. You could use sweetened, either one. And then just roll, completely coat it. Now, if you want a really heavy coating, what I do is roll it, and then I roll it between my hands to kind of get the coconut into the mixture, and then I roll it again. That gives you a really nice thick coat. And then I also have some chopped nuts. I think these are hazelnuts, but you could use any type of nut that you like. Again, you could, if you want a really thick coating. I think this is great because if you just wanted to make one thing, you just wanted to make fruit and nut balls and serve it, when you have this assortment, it looks like you've done so much work when you really haven't. So, and then I have some of this raw sugar. Now you could use white sugar, just granulated white. You could use just a regular light or dark brown sugar. You could use powdered sugar or confectioner sugar. If you're using that, I wouldn't roll them in the powdered sugar right now. I would just do it just before serving because, you know, like with powdered sugar, it tends to dissolve. And then I also have like some cocoa powder. Kind of looks like a truffle. So like I said, I mean, you could really have fun with this and do all kinds of sort of things. Now, if you want, now my favorite way, as I said, is dipping them in melted chocolate. Really looks like a truffle. What you want to do is cover your fruit and nut balls and put them in the fridge. Chill them for at least an hour, because I find that way when you dip them into the melted chocolate, it adheres a lot better. So I'm going to chill these, and when we come back, I'll show you how to dip them. So now for a chocolate covered fruit and nut ball, you will need, if you wanted to dip the whole batch in your chocolate, you will need 5 ounces, which is 140 grams of either a semi-sweet or a bittersweet chocolate. Chocolate that you really like to eat just by itself. And then I like to add like just about a teaspoon of either butter or shortening, because I find that just makes your chocolate a little more fluid, and then it covers the fruit and nut balls a little easier. So put your chocolate in a heat-proof bowl over a saucepan of simmering water, and then we will just melt these, the chocolate and butter together. Okay, so our chocolate is nice and melted, so take it off the heat. And then just the condensation off the bottom of the bowl. So now I like to have some kind of small cup bowl. You want something that you can dip the ball into, so it will be submerged totally in the chocolate. Okay. And then, so you will need either a fork, you can use a fork, or there's these dipping tools that you can also use. So take your cold fruit and nut ball and just, I'll use a fork because that's probably what you have at home. And then just kind of tap it because you want to get rid of any excess chocolate. Looks good. And then just put it back on your sheet like so and do the next one. So then once you have finished doing as many as you want to dip in the chocolate, just pop the baking sheet back into the refrigerator to chill your the chocolate. Now if you wanted to, I'm going to show you how to do like a zigzag pattern with some melted other chocolate, but you could just take like a little bit of coconut and just put it on the top, or nuts, or you could even roll it in the cocoa powder. I mean, you really can get quite creative here with that. But so I'm just going to keep dipping these and then put my sheet back in the fridge, chill it, and when we come back, I will show you how to decorate the top with some melted milk chocolate. So we're now ready to decorate our chocolate covered fruit nut balls. So what I've done is taken 1 ounce, 30 grams of milk chocolate, and I've just melted that. I did it in the microwave because it's such a small amount, but you could do it the same way as I did the dark chocolate. And then what I'm going to do is put it in, well, you could either use a piping bag like this, or actually I'm just going to use a little tiny plastic sandwich bag. So just pour it in there. Okay. And twist it, and then I'm just going to cut the end off just a little. So we're going to just make little squiggles there. I'm just going to put on here just to make sure. Yep, that looks good. So now just back and forth, or you could do whatever you like, really. Pretty easy, but doesn't it look great? It really dresses them up. Okay, so just do that to all of them, and then pop your whole baking tray back in the fridge just until that chocolate hardens. And then you can put them in a covered container, store them in the fridge. They will last at least a month, or for longer storage, just pop them in the freezer. So there we have all our different types. And then, you know, if you were doing it, having company over, you could put on a nice tray like this, or they make great gifts. I mean, you have one recipe and you can decorate them in different ways and put them in a little box like that and some fluted paper cups. Great. So now, I won't lie, I like the chocolate cover ones the best because I just love chocolate. Oh, that's really nice. You got the dark chocolate with the fruit and the nuts. Not too sweet. I mean, it's really nice change, especially these are very popular at Christmas. It's a nice change from all the, you know, cookies and stuff and cakes and that sort of thing. So enjoy. And until next time, I'm Stephanie Jaworski of joybaking.com.